Hello, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm just going to show you how I fix my trays that don't come out the way I expect them to. Like this one, I don't know, I tried to marble it with I think a copper and a green, and I don't know what happened to the marbling. It just kind of spread out in a weird way that I wasn't too thrilled with. I didn't really like it. But it's a lot of resin that goes into this mold, so I don't necessarily want to just throw it out. And I don't think a sticker would really do much for this. You can definitely do that, you know, put something like vinyl or stickers on top to kind of cover it, but I kind of wanted to keep it a marbled tray without anything on it. So I'm just going to show you what I typically do to kind of hide it. I did it with, and I'll show you, another tray that came out like this, and this is what I ended up with in the end. So I feel like this was a much better result. And so when I don't want to put anything on top of a tray, I'll show you what I do. Super simple. Most people may already know this and do this, but if you're new, you might not. But what I basically do is like a top coat, but with color. So I'll pull out the same colors I used in the tray and do a very thin layer of resin, because these trays aren't that deep. So obviously I can't put much in here. And it sounds super simple, and it is, but it can be difficult, especially if you're marbling, because you can't pour a lot in. You have to do like a little bit at a time, and you don't want to really, do this to kind of get the resin to move, because then the marbling will get all screwed up, and you don't want to use a heat gun or anything like that. So it can be a little tricky. It's not always perfect, but it's the best solution that I found so far that kind of still gives me the look I want in the tray. Because the sides aren't terrible. They're not as bad as I think the front. You're going to see the front more than anything. So, yep, that's what I'm going to do today. And I'm going to go mix up my resin, and then I will show you what I do. Okay, so it's voiceover me now. Have to put my respirator on. Here I just mixed up about 3 ounces of the 4-hour fast cure resin. And I had to try to pick colors that match the tray, because I made this tray months ago. I could not remember which colors I used. So I just pulled out the greens that I had that I thought I used, and I was able to find 2 that matched pretty well. So I'm just going to use those 2 and the bronze color in a dirty pour. I find that's the easiest way for me to marble, especially a thin layer like this, because when I pour it individually, I don't know, I have to move it with a heat gun. There's not a lot of resin in there to kind of get a good marbling out of. So I don't know. I just feel like the dirty pour is, for me, easier. But I just spray the tray with alcohol to kind of eliminate any bubbles, because I'm not going to run this through a bubble remover. I can just torch it to get the bubbles out and spray with alcohol. It's so thin. It's such a thin layer of resin that I don't really think there's going to be a problem with bubbles getting trapped underneath. I do worry about micro bubbles, but like I said, a thin layer, you can easily get those out. And then I just like pour down the middle, like swirling it. And then I do a little bit at a time. And then I'll add a little more to the dirty pour cup. And then I'll pour down into the areas where the resin isn't reaching. And to kind of get the resin to move more, I just spray it with 99% alcohol. And that just thins out the resin a little bit so that it will flow a lot quicker, a lot easier. And then I don't have to sit there and tilt the tray like all the way to the right, to the left, whatever, and get the marbling like all messed up and streaky. That's what I'm trying to avoid. So, I mean, this can be tricky, is trying to keep the marbling, but also get it to kind of move to all the corners. But it's definitely doable. You just have to do it slow. You look for any kind of like spots where the resin isn't reaching and just pour a little bit of resin in there. You don't want a thick layer. And that's pretty much it. I take my time with this one. I don't rush it, and I'm not going to put this on a heat mat either, because anytime I do a top coat, and I think I've mentioned this before, regardless if it's clear or a color like this, it always ripples whenever I put it on a heat mat. I really don't know why it does that. It doesn't do it when I have it in a mold, but when it's like this, it does ripple. So I'm just going to let this cure. It's a 4-hour fast cure, but I usually give it till like, I don't know, 6 or 12 hours or like overnight, just to make sure that it's cured, because the temperature of my room has changed a lot. It's gotten a lot colder. So sometimes it says 4 hours, but it can take a little longer. And I don't want to mess up the top coat, because there's no room to add any more resin, or it won't be a tray anymore. So anyway, that's pretty much it. And then I just add a little bit into some bubbles that I had. And then once this is cured, I'll go over it like with UV resin to fill it in all the way. And that's pretty much it. It's very, very simple. No problems with bubbles or anything like that. And the marbling came out really nice. And I'm just going to let this cure, and I will show you the end result. Okay, so this is almost cured, not completely. I'm not going to touch it, because it could use probably another 6 hours before it's like really rock hard. So, but for the most part, it's cured, and I like it. I like it much better than what I started with. It's more of the subtle marbling that I wanted, and I'm fine with the sides. And I did try to fill in some of the bubbles. This one was the biggest one, and I got like half of it filled. So I'll probably go over this again with, once it's all really cured well, with UV resin. I'll just add some of that color into the UV resin and just fill that in with a dotting tool. I don't know if you can see it. And then give it a light sand. It should be fine. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you think that makes it better, or if I should have covered it with like stickers or vinyl or something like that. But yeah, I like this. It's super simple. And I'm not wasting the whole tray. And I think as long as the sides are pretty decent, yeah, I think this is a good fix for those trays that don't turn out exactly the way you expect them to. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to see more videos like this where I fix things or anything like that, just let me know. I'm not really sure what everybody wants to see, the type of content. Like I said, I'm kind of new here, so I'm just trying to figure out different types of content that everyone will enjoy. I can't please everyone, but I could try to do, you know, what the majority wants, or what they like to watch, or what you like to watch, I should say. But anyway, I'll stop talking for this video, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.